Hello, I'm the nostalgia guy, remember? So you don't have to. 30. I hate time. Yep, it was in 1994 when this movie came out, and critics at the time, understandably, were very torn about it. Why? Well, because it's dumb. Dumb, 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 dumb. This is one of the most honestly titled movies that makes no mistake about what it is. But that's part of why it's endured for so long. It's one of the few films where when somebody says they like it or hate it, it's very easy to see why. It's a stupid flick that tries a wide variety of different jokes centered around how dumb its main characters are, and you're either gonna see that idiocy as funny, or you're just gonna see it as idiocy. But something I've noticed is whether you love or hate this movie, everybody has something positive to take away from it. The Siskel and Ebert review is a perfect example. Siskel thought the film worked, but Ebert thought it didn't quite come together, but acknowledges there are moments where it's the hardest he's ever laughed.
God, I heard you laugh.
You heard me not only laughing, I almost had to be hospitalized. There was one moment in this movie that is probably the funniest moment I've seen in 5 years of comedies.
And that's always something I noticed. Even people who don't like it have at least one scene that they love. And it's different for every person. I think that's a testament to the Farrelly brothers not really caring if their humor is highbrow, lowbrow, dark, light, slapstick, or dialogue-driven. Their main focus is only getting a laugh in a believable enough environment. Does the same dumbness still work today, though? Well, let's take a closer look. Let's see if 30 years makes this smarter, dumber, or both. Let's take a look at Dumb and Dumber. The film opens with Lloyd Christmas, played by Jim Carrey, hitting on a woman.
That's a lovely accent you have.
Austria.
Well then, good day, mate.
That's clearly Boston. The attempt doesn't work and we see that Lloyd is actually the driver, which I'm not sure if the joke would be ruined or funnier if you heard him scrambling to get to the back seat.
Excuse me.
And the credits roll while we're introduced to Harry, played by Jeff Daniels. He works for a pet grooming service, which he has. He has a weak excuse to have this car in most of the movie. But if you view these headlights as eyes, it suddenly looks like a deranged Pokemon, and it's instantly worth it.
Harry, why haven't you dropped those dogs off at the show yet?
Neither are particularly good at their jobs. In fact, they both get fired. Harry for ruining the dogs for a dog show, and Lloyd acting like a dumb driving he thinks the love of his life, Mary, played by Lauren Holly. No, really, Fairleys, did you get in a fight over a girl who had that name or something?
Statistically, they say you're more likely to get killed on the way to the airport. I have this cousin. Oh, I
Lloyd, you think they still would have made a kid show out of this if they put together that Harry and Lloyd kinda have a body count? Speaking of which, Lloyd gives Mary a very uncomfortable goodbye.
Lloyd.
just go.
Sure, this isn't a prequel to the number 23. He knows as she leaves her briefcase though, and he rushes to get it back to her, despite 2 other people were supposed to pick it up. No! The scene is still great. My only issue is every trailer had a funnier scream than what actually made it in the movie. I still swear there's a commercial where they use the Wilhelm yell. And even that was funnier than what made it in. It turns out the people meant to pick up the briefcase are Joe and JP, 2 thugs who work for a criminal who kidnapped Mary's husband, and Lloyd now has the ransom money.
The most beautiful woman alive. She actually talked to me, man. Get out of here. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
How everybody who takes an alpha male class talks. Not that I would know. They see the criminals and they think they have guns because they didn't pay their gas bill. Hey, that's legit. The gas company can be hardcore. One time I didn't pay the gas bill, now every time I use the lighter. So they make a run for it. Our villains break in and decide to leave a message with their pet bird.
His head fell off.
His head fell off.
Yeah, he was pretty old.
I've seen Tom and Jerry. Some birds are just really sensitive. In maybe the only dramatic moment in the film, Lloyd says he wants to do something that matters and travel to Aspen to get the briefcase to Mary.
I'm sick and tired of having to eke my way through life. Sick and tired of being a nobody. I'm sick and tired of having nobody.
One of the reasons Carrey plays it so well is because he confessed it reminded him of when he and his family were struggling living out of their car. And these words hit hard because only on his 3rd starring role in a film, he was one of the highest paid actors in Hollywood. In fact, all these 3 monster hits came out the same year. It's a good moment on its own, but it does hit a little different with that information. But doesn't lose track that's still a dumb comedy.
Oh, come on. Okay, that's enough.
I already made one movie creeper joke, though maybe Nigma could work here? They start on the road trip as Lloyd confesses to get a little extra money he sold their dead bird to a blind kid. And if you're wondering what scene made Ebert laugh so hard he embarrassed himself, this is the one.
Can you say pretty bird? Pretty bird. Yes, pretty bird.
Good to know the best don't shy away from their dark and twisted side.
This parrot is no more!
Harry accidentally spills some salt, so he literally throws a salt shaker over his shoulder, hitting some truckers who threaten him. Lloyd says he has a plan to get back at him he saw in a movie once. He tells the truckers they're sorry and want to buy them around, but tells the waitress the truckers are paying for Lloyd and Harry's meal.
All right, that's what he wants.
Put these on there too.
By the way, the movie they got that trick from? Pooh's Grand Adventure.
The movie? They catch up to him half-mile down the road and slit his throat.
Most violent scene ever animated. Which is funny because it sounds very similar to a scene in Something Wild, but Harry was there for that, he would have remembered.
I'm not pulling over now.
Harry's freaked out the truckers are gonna catch up, even when Lloyd has to pee, in several beer bottles. This gets the attention of a state trooper, played by Harland Williams. And I'll admit, when I first saw this guy's comedy, I didn't really understand it. But years later, I love the out of it. He's an art comedian who experiments and tries anything once, making his reactions very unexpected. You'd think when he drinks this beer bottle full of he's gonna spit it out or scream or have some sort of big reaction. But instead, we get a dolphin having a stroke. I don't know what that is, but it's great on rewatches.
Get the out of here.
He lets him go, and Lloyd has a daydream about meeting up with Mary again. It's about how you would think a daydream from this character would go. Even this scene, odd to say, doesn't seem weird for this character. But the fantasy suddenly being taken over by a kung fu movie where the staff all wants to hit on his woman? That's the kind of bonkers that needs to be preserved. This takes over 2/3 of the fantasy. You could cut it and miss nothing essential to the plot. But by God, you would miss a joke literally throwing its heart at you and putting it in a doggy bag. It's just amazing. In one of my favorite wake-up moments, her suddenly turned into a truck. Thank God he wasn't driving towards a Macy's parade. And as pretty useless as both these thugs are, yeah, keep loading that gun or we're never gonna see a use. We do get this one bad moment.
Get off the phone.
Stay tuned for more of the St. Louis reboot of Doctor Who. Joe pretends to have a busted car to find out more about Lloyd and Harry and who they're supposedly working for.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Fun fact, this wasn't in the script, and you can tell because Daniel starts to lose it just before they cut away. Again, though, you can see a little bit more of his reaction in the trailer, where he tries to play along with it a bit more. Though honestly, it would have been more effective if they went with this.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
When Joe figures out they're not with anybody, they're just incredibly dumb. He plans to poison them, but Harry and Lloyd accidentally end up poisoning him instead.
Don't worry, I know CPR.
Out with the battery! In with the gun!
It's okay! I'm a lifeguard! Joe ends up kicking the bucket, but that doesn't stop their trip, as they make their way to a gas station, when Lloyd bumps into the trucker they scammed earlier. Harry accidentally saves him, though, just in time for me to get a good look at one of my personal favorite jokes. I mean, okay, it's not an amazing joke. No, it's literally what's written under it. Hey folks, we're starting YouTube memberships. If you want access to emojis, polls, behind-the-scene videos, and other perks, check out and see if you want to become a member. Lloyd takes over driving, taking him several miles in the wrong direction, resulting in this great line.
I expected the Rocky Mountains to be a little rockier than this.
Well, these Rocky Mountains are the actual height of Rocky. Harry is because they have no money left, so he leaves Lloyd behind. Lloyd sells the car to a kid with a scooter, though, and they're back on track. Harry has to go to the bathroom, though, despite them trying to save on gas.
Just go, man. Oh, that sure is warm.
Another successful Amazon delivery. They make it to Aspen, growing closer than they've ever been. But they realize when they get there, they have no idea where Mary is. They finally find out, though, that the briefcase is filled with tons of money.
We borrow a few bucks, just a small loan from the briefcase, and we find ourselves some reasonable lodgings.
Oh, come on, you can take out more from Carrey's paycheck. Nah, I'm just kidding. It'd be 7 briefcases to match his payment. Literally, half the film's budget went to him. And if you're thinking, what the don't worry, no one else is.
There you go. There you go.
They of course blow all the money on things they don't need until they find a paper that says Mary is going to attend a major event. I'm not sure how the Farrellys keep finding the most beautifully ugly tuxes in film, but they've proven to be almost as iconic as quoting other iconic lines in a new iconic way.
I'd like to eat her liver with some farver beans and a nice bottle of Chianti.
Scarier than anything in Hannibal. They see Mary as helping an endangered type of owl, naturally leading to this line.
Nice set of hooters you got there. The owls, they're beautiful.
He had to do that in front of Teri Garr. She originated that joke. And Harry is supposed to build Lloyd up, but ends up falling for her instead.
We successfully mated a bulldog with a shih tzu. We called it
Colonel Chamberlain, everybody. I think everybody knew something like this was coming.
Boy, this party really died.
He had just one day until retirement from Hogwarts. Seriously, this film really likes its dead birds. Harry says Mary's gonna meet up with Lloyd at a different location while he spends the day with her instead.
There's been some family problems, but I don't want to bore you with those.
I'd rather lead you on thinking you have a chance while my husband's life hangs in the balance. Yeah, okay, not everything gels together in this.
Oh, look, Frost. You wouldn't happen to have a cup of warm water, would you?
Yet he's still a more convincing dud than Ezekiel Sims. Lloyd finds out about Harry's betrayal, and while Harry makes up more lies, Lloyd plots his revenge. Okay, so I've made it clear in the past, I'm not the biggest fan of fart jokes or jokes or stuff like that, but there are a few that just slay me. And this is their crowning achievement. I've seen this joke done so many times and it's always so lame, but this movie turns it into an art. First off, the build-up's sensational. From Carrey acting only with his eyes preparing for Harry's suffering, to Daniel's face when he first senses what's coming, to the amazing sound design, I swear replicating bubbling turmoil in a liquid hydrogen bomb. All building up to this comic nirvana. It's the mix of his facial reaction, his body positioning, and that explosive noise of Mount Krakatoa erupting into a toilet bowl. That look of excruciating pain and utter ecstasy is one of the funniest things we as humans have ever filmed. It's so painful it feels good, yet so good it feels painful. And then, on top of everything else, we get an obvious but still masterful punchline.
I hope you're not using the toilet, it's broken.
Huh? And even that punchline needs another payoff. I don't care what any film historian says, this stupid scene has layers. And people who love the craft of comedy should be studying it for years. I say without the tiniest bit of irony or sarcasm, I literally did this entire review just so I could talk about this one scene. If scientists ever do a study of comedically perfect moments, this has to be in the top 10. Don't look at me, it's just science. Not that this scene needs an art topper, but this is also a pretty funny callback.
The blind Rhode Island boy who was duped into buying a dead parakeet.
I just thought he was real quiet.
It's that one guy who's waving like, he can't see me, he's blind. God, I love it when a good comedy has no conscience. Lloyd drops by unannounced and tells Mary about the briefcase. So she agrees to go with him back to the hotel to pick it up. Here he practices his confession of love to Mary, saying she makes him feel like a schoolboy.
I feel like a schoolboy again. A schoolboy who desperately wants to you.
I chip off my childhood accident for you. It doesn't work as well in person, though.
Mary? That's not what I meant.
She says their chances are 1 in a million, which he misinterprets as,
so you're telling me there's a chance?
Literally the mindset of anyone who sent a to a stranger. But the mastermind behind the kidnapping, yeah, you don't care who he is, and neither does the audience, takes them hostage as well, finding out all his money has been replaced with IOUs.
That's a car. $275,000. Might want to hang on to that one.
Every IOU dollar is worth 5 British pounds. Harry comes in to save the day, does a pretty bad job, but then bounces back to still do a pretty bad job. But it turns out the stranger at the gas station was an FBI agent, thus Mary is reunited with her husband, leading to this darkest scene.
Lloyd.
Huh? No, really, this might be the most demented character Carrey's ever played. They walk back home when they're approached by a bus full of bikini models, looking for 2 oil boys to grease them up before their competition.
You are in luck. There's a town about 3 miles that way. I'm sure you'll find a couple guys there.
It's pretty well known the original ending had them getting on the bus, but Jim Carrey refused to shoot it because he said their characters would be too stupid to do that.
You'll have to excuse my friend. The town is back that way.
On the one hand, that is kind of an thing to do, not even shoot the original version as an option. I mean, he's the actor, not the director, and for what he's getting paid, he probably should have shot the alternate take too. On the other hand, he was right, that ending sucks and this one's far better.
Don't worry, we'll catch our break too. Just gotta keep our eyes open.
I'll compromise and say your d***ness knew what it was talking about. And that was Dumb and Dumber. I'm not gonna lie, it's actually a little funnier than I remember it. I think like anybody, I'm gonna find some jokes that don't work, and there are plenty of moments that don't tie together that well. But with the exception of maybe fourth wall jokes, and even then the something wild joke kinda counts, they try every type of humor I can think of in this. Again, within the limits of the reality they created. There's so many quotable lines and funny moments I didn't even have time to mention here, and most of them do get a lot funnier the more you watch them. Even when they feel desperate, there's just such a going for broke attitude and joy of performance that felt throughout the entire thing. Whether it's one of the straight men or antagonists or over-the-top leads, everybody does their part with complete conviction, trying their best to make the joke work. Harry and Lloyd go back and forth between being likable and unlikable, and both work because the characters are usually too dumb to tell which is which. There's no moral or ethical conflict to be analyzed, it's just 2 idiots being 2 idiots. And when it's this team at this time bringing these 2 idiots to life, everybody can find at least one moment both so dumb yet so funny to walk away with. I'm a nostalgia critic guy, remember? So you don't have to.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Head on, apply directly to the forehead. Head on, apply directly to the forehead.
Guys!
This month for Cameos for Charity, we're doing Red Cross. Whether it's providing blood, sending in volunteers, helping near or far with disasters big or small, Red Cross provides a number of different ways to save lives. So if you want a cameo of me saying happy birthday or good luck or whatever, click on the link below and be giving to a good cause. Or if you're like, you, I can't even look at you, well, consider giving to this organization anyway. You can give money, give blood, or even volunteer. They're amazing people that literally save lives and you can help them out. Click on the link and see if this is a cause you can give to.